129 win over Washington. Wilt Chamberlain is number one with his 100-point game in 1962 for the Philadelphia Warriors. Adebayo passed LeBron for the most points in a game in Miami franchise history. LeBron had 61 against Charlotte in 2014. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Tavis Smiley. They say time flies when you're having fun. The founding members cohort is now officially over. Hard to believe. It's been a joy sharing what I've discovered after nearly 40 years of conversations with presidents, cultural icons, and game changers in every field of human endeavor. If you missed the first cohort, the good news is that we're already planning the next one. Now the seats will be limited, and those on our waiting list will receive exclusive early access and special discounts not available to the general public. So, if you are ready to transform the way you connect, lead, and build trust, do not hesitate. Go to TavisTalks.com and join the waiting list today. That's TavisTalks.com. The next cohort is coming. Make sure you are in the room. I'm Tavis Smiley, and I hope to see you there.
Don't wake me, I'm dreaming. Don't wake me, I'm dreaming.
KBLA Talk 1580. Wow, it is the 35th anniversary of New Jack City. What a beautiful thing and what an honor and a privilege. We were talking earlier about hip-hop renaissance. This man is a true renaissance man, a consummate filmmaker. He is a writer, director, actor, producer who actually does all of those things. Originally breaking out as an actor in Clint Eastwood's Heartbreak Ridge. He's got a stack of NAACP awards, including that one. And his feature directing debut was New Jack City, the classic. Just heard a little something from that original soundtrack, which is now celebrating its 35th year. Mario Van Peebles, welcome.
Hey, good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to hear your voice. Man, do you stay busy? I mean, I know about your projects. I hear about your projects. When I started reading the bio and rereading the stuff you're doing right now, how do you have time to do all this stuff? I mean, you are constantly working.
You know, for me, career-wise, it's kind of been three loves. You know, three loves in your life. Love what you do, love and enjoy the folks you do it with, and I get to work with friends and family and sometimes found family. And then the big one is love what you say with your work. And if those three chakras line up, it doesn't feel like work. It's like you're getting paid to do what you love doing. So I'm been blessed in that, you know, no one typically gets to be flavor of the month for 30 years. You have ups and downs. But as you said, 35 years ago today, New Jack City came out with it. That's crazy to me.
That is crazy. It's like a time warp or some kind of wormhole. Like, how is that even possible?
What's bananas is, if you think about that, is that 20 years before that, my father, Melvin Van Peebles, made his seminal film, Sweetback's Badasssss Song, which changed the game. And then 20 years later, I got to make New Jack. So it was kind of unusual to have a black father and son filmmaking family like that and get to do it.
I mean, it's unusual and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. And you know, we've had this conversation before. When you have a really iconic dad, who's beloved not just in Hollywood but in the grassroots and in the activist community. That can be a big burden, but I feel like you've carried it with such grace.
It's been fun. Both my parents were free thinkers,
Yeah.
which was and we had deep conversations. I remember talking to my dad and my mom, but my dad and we're talking about how Frantz Fanon had said that the most powerful colonizers left behind the schools and the churches to socialize the oppressed to the oppressor's point of view. And then we were talking about, that one good priest could do the work of 100 soldiers. Well, guess what? One good filmmaker can do the work of even more. So when film ended and they did the first birth of a nation, they depicted us, folks of color, in a very negative light. And that gave birth to the KKK. But when film was used by folks like Melvin Van Peebles to make Sweetback, it became a tool of liberation, of exploration, of motivation. And so folks go, oh, well, we can get with this. And then after that came, Shaft and Superfly and Soul Cinema, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then 20 years later, like I said, I get to make New Jack City. But I loved what my parents were able to share with me by being politically aware folks. They understood, America's built on capitalism and it's built on democracy. You want to have some kind of business going on, and you have to be engaged politically, no matter how toxic it may seem, because these elections have consequences. So I early on saw that, and I had parents who were not materialistic, and they were ready to make change, and they did. And so growing up with that was dope.
And you haven't shied away. I mean, you did a piece about your dad, and Sweetback. You've played your dad on film. You talk about him freely. I love that. And I think you somehow you come from this activist, conscious background, but you've been able to navigate the most shiny parts of Hollywood seemingly effortlessly.
Yeah, I haven't got stuck on the Epstein Island. I didn't put on no baby oil.
Oh my goodness!
You know what I mean? It's just like, here's the deal, right? You understand this? Wherever there's people, there's going to be some poo. So stepping around it is up to you. It's just like high school, man. You could do the right thing, or you could hang out with the wrong crowd. You got to say, nah. No one to hold them, no one to fold them. I ain't going to do that. And the other thing is, honestly, people, you kind of have to evaluate why people come to this town at all. So some people come here, they want to be famous. Some people come here, they want to meet the ladies, or maybe they want to meet the guys. Some people come here, maybe they were nerds in high school, and they see this as an opportunity to get some revenge of the nerds energy going. There's a lot. You see a lot of revenge of the nerds going on. And then now and then you meet people that are here really to do good work, and some of those people have a vision. They have something they want to say that's not just derivative. I want to make a movie like the last two movies that made money so that I can make money. And they really have a vision. And sometimes a guy came up to me once, me and my dad. Dad and I were walking in New York. Picture this: New York City. It's a magical night. It was drizzling. Dad and I were walking in the drizzle and the rain. And his brother came up behind us with long silver locks. And he said, hey, man, I love your work. So we both turned around. We didn't know who he was talking to. And he said, don't worry, I'm a fan. I'm not a groupie. And I got to tell you this, right? He had his son with him. He said, sometimes I go to the movies and I'm entertained, and that's a good thing. Sometimes I go to the movies and I come out, I've learned something. I've had a little shift in consciousness, and that's a great thing. And sometimes, rarely, but every now and then I go to the movies and I come out proud to be a man of color. Now, with your movies, both of your movies, I get all three.
Yeah, that's high praise.
Right? I'm like, well, that's it. That's what it is. You know what I mean? And so if you can make movies that, entertain us, but maybe edutain us too. Give us something with some nutritional value. Don't just get on the Don't give me no cinematic empty calories now. Come on, let's go. I don't want that. You know what I mean? And so, yes, absolutely, entertain me, but give me something to think about. And rarely do you see filmmakers like that, but every now and then there are, and they do original things and they take chances, and I love it. And I've been about that. You know, when I grew up, my dad took me to some of the meetings of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. My mother and I hitchhiked out to see the Rolling Stones at Altamont, so I had two different exposures. And with my dad and him knowing the Panthers and then being such a fan of Sweetback, he had written a book on it, on the rise of the Black Panther Party. And so I said, well, Daddy, the book feels like a movie. And I convinced him to write a script, and I took my dad back into the Hollywood game. And we tried to get it done. And it was a lot, but we were eventually able to get it done. Initially, they wanted us to make one of the lead Panthers white. And
no, they didn't. Don't tell me lies, Mario Van Peebles.
Oh, yes, they did. Let me tell you, they wanted to make one of the lead Panthers white. Here's what the reason was. They said, look, man, come on now. We know that the heavyweight champs, the prominent ones were, Jack Johnson, Ali, Tyson. Well, we'll focus on a fictional one named Rocky. We know that the martial arts invented by the Asians, but the Karate Kid doesn't get to be Asian. We know that Dances with Wolves was American. And so they thought, well, look, if you can't make one of the lead Panthers white, why don't you do like a, Jane Fonda-ish kind of student at Berkeley, and she meets 5 young brothers from the hood and teaches them how to read, something like that Dangerous Minds kind of vibe. It's very possible. We'll just shift it around like that. She gives them Mao's Red Book, teaches them how to read. They become revolutionaries, but she's really the one that the impetus.
Right, she's the brains behind the operation, right?
Exactly.
That sounds about right.
We couldn't do it. I had to slowly convince them that we should do it authentically, and we made Panther. And actually, Panther is really hard to get. It's like the one movie. You could see New Jack, you could see Posse, you could see Outlaw Posse, but Panther is very hard to get. It's almost like I joked that it's harder to get than the damn unredacted files.
So you have to basically go over to your house. I mean, how would we get it?
Some people have found it. They found it online somehow. Some people got copies.
So I can get my kid to find it then.
Yeah,
my kid can find anything online. Yeah.
And it's, in a way, it's kind of a prequel to New Jack City because it posits that the drugs that started to flood into our communities were not done accidentally. And Nino Brown says in the end of New Jack, we don't have poppy fields in the hood. We don't have gun manufacturing plants in the hood. So how do these guns and drugs get here? If you follow the money, it very quickly leaves black and brown hands.
Yeah.
And it stays in our communities predominantly. Now, when it goes into the other communities, fentanyl, et cetera, then people get excited about it and they start to take action. But typically, if it stays in the hood, they look at the hood as a self-cleaning oven, and we sort of do ourselves in. And as long as it stays in the hood, that scene comes up in The Godfather, then it's all good. And we addressed that in Panther. And so the movie was very, very controversial, but we were able to get the vision done the way the Van Peebles family wanted to get it done. And
wow, self-cleaning oven is diabolical. Yeah, we and Mario Van Peebles is not sitting here talking to us about New Jack City and Panther and Sweetback's Badasssss song because he doesn't have new projects. He's putting us in context. You got so much stuff going on. That's the beauty of it. We're gonna find out what is up, where we can see it, tracking all the things he has going on stage, on screen, and behind the scenes. More with Mario Van Peebles straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day. All the women who independent, throw your hands up at me.
This March, we're turning up the volume on the women who changed everything. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the trailblazers, truth tellers, and game changers who shaped our world, our culture, and our community. From the freedom fighters to the firsts, from the boardroom to the front lines, from the unsung to the unforgettable. All month long, we're celebrating the stories, the voices, and the conversations that remind us that women, Black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we're your girls. We want you to know that we love you.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-2013 or biglou.com.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And I'm pleased to say you are waking up with the Renaissance man, actor, director, activist, and producer. Mario Van Peebles is here. So much you got going on, so many questions, so much to cover. First of all, congratulations on Outstanding Director at the 2026 NAACP Image Awards.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of actors, jump to directing or want to jump to directing, and not that many of them stick. Since New Jack City, I feel like you've been directing steadily.
Yeah. Well, I realized that early on that as a actor, I was a job seeker, and as a filmmaker, director, producer, I could be a job creator. And I needed to feel like it's cool for us to play ball, but we also need to know how to own the team. And
yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's for us to talk in the street, but it's also good to be on the radio. So I felt like I could affect change more in that seat, and that was important if I wanted to be proud of what we were saying, what was going on in our developing and creating our own zeitgeist.
Back to those 3 loves.
Yeah, exactly. So I could say, okay, and it's good because people like your movie and you directed it. Great. If people don't like it, it's on you. You know what I mean? You're gonna take, and people don't usually come up and tell you you got an ugly baby, but our folks do. You walk through Lambert Park and they go, man, I love that movie. That other one, though, that wasn't that good, but this one here, woo, I love that. You know how our people do, man.
Yeah, they do. They do. Absolutely. Gotta love that.
Cool. Yeah, because it was interesting. Black folks, when they see white folks, recognize you and appreciate you, but black folks are related to you. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you ain't gonna walk by me today. No, my mama. my mama done seen all your movies. You got to take this picture. You know,
Yeah.
There's a different pride and a different ownership and a different connection. And when we do it, you feel it, and it's lovely. So I as a filmmaker get excited about things because I can make things that don't have to do with me, or just someone that looks like me. I did a movie on Salt and Pepper back in the day. That was mad fun because, they're just to channel the girl power of it all, and see them do their thing. I've done movies, I've done stuff where there was no people of color. Well, as a black actor, I wouldn't be invited into that room.
Right,
On the flip
right.
side, right? On the flip side, I'm an actor that's been directed by other really powerful filmmakers. I've been directed by my dad, of course, by Clint Eastwood, by Michael Mann, by Ava, by all kinds of other filmmakers. And so it allows you inside as a filmmaker in a different way, and I also speak actor rather well, obviously. So,
which is really important, because when directors don't, it can get really bad results and create all kinds of emotional dysregulation on sets.
Right, because at the end of the day, you're not just dealing with lights and camera, you're dealing with people.
Yeah.
And at some point it comes down to your people skills, your ability to communicate an idea. And especially if, and I've done all kinds of budgets too. I've done big, I've done small. But one thing about indie budgets is that, you got to be good to people. When you're making a movie, you can just pay people all kind of money. They'll put up with whatever. But when you don't have all that money, you got to be good to them and inspire them and make sure they know their ideas are welcome and bring out the best in them. And that's been the lesson, a valuable lesson my dad passed on, the ability to bring out the best in others.
Well, you also did a biopic, I guess, about Wu-Tang, a documentary about Wu-Tang Clan. And I saw you at the Pan-African Film Festival interviewing RZA about his new project. And it was just a really interesting and complex dialogue between the two of you guys. Clearly, he views you as a mentor, an advisor. Talk to me a little bit about that relationship.
Yeah. Riz is cool people, man. He's we did this Wu-Tang series. It was called Wu-Tang Saga. It was on Hulu. And I was the producer director of the season 2. And, you every now and then you come across other filmmakers, other brothers and sisters that have something, and he's got a unique vision. And one of the things that I said the other day was that to some degree, Hollywood is a magnifier. Whoever you are, it'll magnify that. So
Interesting. Yeah.
If you're cool with yourself, it'll magnify that, and you'll be hella cool. And if you're not, kind of a jerk, it'll magnify that too. And Riz is definitely cool with himself, and it's a pleasure to be around other brothers like that. And often we're taught to compete and not to collab. And so it's really good to see other brothers come together and go, oh, wow, we can collab on this. We can collab on that. And he had to make his way, with Wu-Tang Clan and bring all these brothers with different personalities together and make that work. And they did incredible stuff for where they came from. And I really admire that. I came into the world, and my dad had to do that, make his way out of nowhere in this business. But he figured out how to do that. So to have those camaraderie is almost like a brother of sorts, a creative brother, is really dope. And so I love working with him. I'd work with him anytime. It's easy. We just flow together.
Yeah, well, he clearly looks up to you, and I love that, he seems to be a student of film, in a sense, a student of the whole craft of filmmaking.
Yeah, of life. He stays open. I always say, stay young enough to be a great teacher and old enough to be a badass student. Yeah.
Are you, speaking of camaraderie and rooting or not rooting for folks, do you have any thoughts on the upcoming Oscars this weekend, the Academy Awards?
Yeah, I do. I really have enjoyed the body of work that the camaraderie between Brother Coogler and Michael B.
Yeah.
And I love seeing that. These cats have done Fruitville. They've done all kinds of work together, of course, Black Panther, and now Sinners. So I'm a fan of that, and it goes beyond just any one specific project. And I think they took a chance and did something we don't usually see. And I think the music sequence in Sinners is off the chain. The spectacular way they showed that American music comes from all of us, and at the roots of it is African rhythm. And so I thought it was some spectacular stuff they did. So I'm rooting for them. But there were other good pictures that I liked, bits of this and some of that. But I'm happy to see us getting that vision out there. And I'm concerned, obviously, about what this sort of Hollywood takeover that we're seeing the process of will look like for us as filmmakers.
The purchase of Warner Brothers by Paramount and the sort of consolidation under the Ellison family, under one family of pretty much most of U.S. media.
Correct. And as you know, they're sort of very big in the Trump world.
Yes.
And so if, CNN becomes the new Fox News, et cetera, we're going to be having to deal with not just being able to, it's going to be easy for us to make noise, but maybe harder for us to be heard. And that's going to be a tricky world. I saw when my dad did Sweetback's Badasssss song in 1971, it became the top grossing independent hit up until that time. And after that, the studios were upset with my dad. They said, well, you didn't use our marketing team. You didn't use our studio. You didn't use our union. You didn't take our notes. And he says, but I asked you. I asked you to fund it. I came to you. They said, we know, but you weren't supposed to be able to do it without us. You've shown the world that you can succeed without us. And we're not going to work with you again.
Yeah,
right?
we have a minute till news, traffic, and sports, and then we'll keep going on the other side. But it's a point I wanted you to go a little deeper into, because even 35 years ago when New Jack City came out, it wasn't the same environment right now. So, in terms of so many doors, so many avenues of distribution, and more creators at least being able to get into the so-called system or find ways to work outside of it like your father did. And so even something like the Ellisons taking over TikTok can be significant because people are using those platforms as marketing tools. And now there are things you're not allowed to say on there. You're not allowed to criticize Trump, apparently. You're not allowed to say Zionists and several other things that they're just censoring. So I'm wondering, and we can go into this a little more deeply, just as your father found a way around this sort of filmmaking and media behemoth, which very few people did at that time. Are we going to have to create new paths now, even though we've gotten used to more avenues of distribution and expression? We'll continue this conversation after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Longtime Congressman Benny Thompson has won Mississippi's Democratic primary, easily defeating Black 34-year-old challenger Evan Turnage.
I'm running for Congress because I am done waiting for Washington politicians to fix what they've broken.
The 78-year-old is now poised to secure his 18th term in the safely Democratic 2nd District. Human Rights Watch says armed drones used by Haitian security forces and private contractors killed at least 1,200 people and injured more than 700 between March 2025 and January 2026. The UN Human Rights Chief says the force used against gangs likely violates international law. And Netflix is giving a first look at its new series, Man on Fire, starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as former Special Forces mercenary John Creasy. The show follows Creasy's fight with PTSD. Man on Fire premieres April 30th. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Now is the time to save on an award-winning Nissan at the Nissan Now sales event, featuring the Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, and more. Don't wait. These offers are going fast. Shop your Southern California Nissan dealers and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are 6-1 in their last 7 games after beating Minnesota Tuesday night, 120-106 at Crypto.com. Luka Doncic had a triple-double with 31 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. No LeBron last night. He missed his 3rd straight game with a sore elbow and a bruised hip. Until last night, Kobe Bryant's 81 points against Toronto in 2006 was the 2nd highest single-game total in NBA history. The 2nd highest game now belongs to Miami Heat forward Bam Adebayo. The 8-year veteran dropped 83 last night in Miami's 150-129 win over Washington. Wilt Chamberlain is number 1 with his 100-point game in 1962 for the Philadelphia Warriors. Adebayo passed LeBron for the most points in the game in Miami franchise history. LeBron had 61 against Charlotte in 2014. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey LA, spring into savings with a special offer from LADWP. Now through March 31st, get a Flume device for free. What's a Flume? It's an easy-to-install home water monitor and leak detector that helps you catch leaks early and track water use. Don't wait. Order your free Flume before March 31st at ladwp.com/FLUME. That's ladwp.com/FLUME.
Injured in an accident? Insurance not paying what you deserve? The Law Office of Hamlin will get you paid. Call 424-266-9175. That's 424-266-9175. The Law Office of Hamlin, your legal vibe for the culture.
Hey guys, do you want male performance in the bedroom and do you want it now? Get it in 47 seconds or less. For the first time, you can have instant male enhancement. Introducing Nox 47, the topical male enhancement that works in 47 seconds or less. Satisfaction guaranteed. Finally, after years of scientific research, our proprietary formula will allow you to perform in the bedroom like never before. Just imagine that little blue pill on steroids. No reason to settle and wait when you can get instant performance now. Forget about pills and potions that make you wait hours or up to 30 days to work. That's yesterday's news. Nox 47 is brand new. The hottest thing for men. And you don't need a prescription. Call now and get your free supply for a limited time.
To find out how to get Nox 47 for free, call now. 800-677-1453. That's 800-677-1453. Free bottles for limited time. Call 800-677-1453. That's 800-677-1453.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
Talking with Mario Van Peebles. It is my honor and my pleasure to do so. Actor, director, producer, and activist, quiet as it's kept, keeping your feet in all these different worlds with grace and ease, which it's a little harder than it looks. But you mentioned, this new round of consolidation that we have now where Paramount is buying, probably, looks like, they haven't quite closed it yet, Warner Brothers. And so that's consolidation of these studios under one family. It's also the consolidation of a lot of media, including CNN, CBS, and TikTok. So does that mean we're going to be more or less back to a landscape closer to what your dad faced, where really there were no black directors, filmmakers, producers, even very few leading actors getting greenlit in anything?
Well, that's the thing is the question is, we look good in the movie. How many of us can greenlight a movie?
Yeah.
We can lead a television series. How many of us, own or control or run a studio? And so that's the problem is you look at the back of the $2 bill and you see the Declaration of Independence. Well, basically, women weren't there. Native American brothers and sisters weren't there. Very, maybe one brother, maybe one or two. But basically, we were not in the room when it happened. And now you've got the return of this guy, I'm not going to say his name, in the Oval Office, and he's bringing his billionaires with him. And people that we thought might stick up and protect the First Amendment have flipped and for the color of money and said, no, man, we're going to go after late night hosts if they don't say what we want. We're going to go after Don Lemon. We're going to go after even Susan Rice. And we're going to try to be transactional with the First Amendment. So it's a real important time to remember that, like I said, America's built on capitalism and democracy. We've got to be in business, but we also need to be electing folk who protect the First Amendment. Otherwise, you and I won't get to make the images that matter, that inspire our people. We won't get to do the radio shows that matter, that help make us think and unite us. And that's a problem. I mean, you could see clearly they're taking us out of the history books. Well, the Van Peebles family's already tried to put us on the screen. So you might look at that. We put it on the screen. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes down. But we may have to think about how we maneuver in this, and we might not have the answer yet. But we need to be in the room when this happens, and right now we're not. Now, you said, I was just listening to the ads. It was talking about you leading a trip to Africa.
Yes.
I applaud. I was going to say, one of the things my dad would say is get your passport. Go to Africa.
Yep.
Go to how many languages do you speak? Learn more than one language. That's what Quincy Jones would say. Channel the ancestors, right? Shirley would say, remain unbossed and unbought. John Lewis would say, don't be afraid to get in good trouble. Jesse would tell us, hey, we are somebody. Do you know what I mean? Martin would say, I have a dream, and Malcolm would say, good, get it by any means necessary. And Melvin would say, keep on keeping on. So we have to channel the wisdom of our ancestors and yet pair that with modern-day technology. And we're creative folks. We're survivors. We've done it before. We're going to have to figure it out. But definitely they are coming for us. They're coming for us. We've got, and you can see there's a war on brown people outside of America. They're dropping all these bombs. These countries, most of the folks in those countries are brown folks. Inside the country, they're going after, us inside the country. I sort of jokingly say that ICE is the icing on the cake of fascism. Arrest people with no warrant, with no badge, and cover your face, and you could just pull them out. Well, that starts to sound a little. That doesn't sound like the America we know and love.
Yeah.
And here, look, it's not even just us now. They're coming after white folks too. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not just not all skin folk or kin folk. We know that. So we're in very interesting and times on all fronts. But yes, in the arts, they're coming for us, and we're going to have to hunker down and fellowship and do what you and I are doing and talk and figure it out.
And, of course, my dad, the late, great Amiri Baraka, would probably say, use your art for liberation. He was always telling us, all art is political, so you might as well be mindful of what you're actually saying.
Absolutely. I mean, your dad did a poem that I love, and I covered in the First Amendment project that I did for Sundance called Someone Blew Up America. And,
you were one of the few that was bold enough to love that.
I like, man. Well, but he came out. I remember once he said, if I can't do my poetry for the brother, working in the street and the sister working in the shop, and they can't get it, then it just becomes academic and therefore useless. It's got to engage us now. And I feel the same thing about film. You can't if you just make a nice documentary, 5 people see it. You got to put in a movie where they get it. So, for example, my latest Western that I did, Outlaw Posse, there's a scene where there's a historical character that some people don't know about named Stagecoach Marion. She was a real badass. Before women could even vote, she had her own stagecoach line running up through Montana, and she thought, if they can make money from us, I can make money from us. And she had the first deal with the U.S. Postal Service. And Whoopi Goldberg plays her, and there's a scene where I'm on the stagecoach with her, and she turns to me and she says, "Do you remember your pa?" And I said, "Yeah. They hung him for trying to teach me how to read. And then they told me to call an old white priest father. And then they told me by law I had to take the slave owner's last name. And I figured with all them BS laws, I was going to grow up to be an outlaw for sure. And that's how we got the name Outlaw Posse." So you could take a Western. People don't always see the same news, but they'll watch it. You get, Republicans will watch a Western, Democrats will watch a Western. You could take, and in the context of entertainment, you can make edutainment. You can drop a little science on them and go, "Oh, wow, I never looked at it that way. There was some crazy-ass laws."
Yeah, I saw that film, actually, and that one was one you made by hook or by crook. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't be afraid to do that if you have a vision now. That is you can't be afraid to say, "Look, here's the deal. If you take money from McDonald's, it's very hard to make Supersize Me." They're not going to fund a movie that shows the truth behind the junk food we eat.
Right, absolutely.
So golden rule is you have the goal makes the rule. The minute you take the studio's money, you got to take the studio's political line.
Yeah.
And so if you're making something like Melvin Van Peebles did or Brother Baraka did, you're sometimes going to be going up against the system, and that's an entirely different endeavor.
Yeah, it is.
The Black Panthers said, Sweetback, what they loved about Sweetback was that Sweetback made being a revolutionary hip. And they said, Shaft, made by the studios, made working with the man hip. He was a private detective working with the system. And Superfly made dealing drugs against your own people for the system hip. Yeah. So you go from the revolutionary core of the cake, it's slowly drained out. It's still radio-ready, dope-ass soundtrack with an empowered black lead and some fly clothes and some style. But what it's saying underneath it is slowly getting watered down. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I was just talking, before you came on about I'm still digesting one battle after another, but I felt like it was a portrait of what it is to be a radical activist that doesn't necessarily line up with what I saw as a little kid growing up with 2 parents that were radical activists, one white and one black,
Right.
So it's, it definitely the golden rule.
Yeah, correct. And it felt almost like the message was cut out. Like, well, what are they fighting for?
Right.
Like, it was minister, and then when you rob a bank with no money, with no mask, and and you start saying, I'm not going to say it on the air, but what she says, in that scene, you're like, dude, what are we doing? This is But I have to say, there were some dope scenes. That car chase was off the hook.
Yeah, and some great performances too. I mean, I think I had nightmares about Sean Penn after watching that movie. But
some of the character or caricatures of us were pretty reductive. It's clearly made from someone that's outside, that's a bit of a cultural tourist, and that happens.
Okay, now I feel better now that you said that, because that's kind of what I felt. But I was like, maybe I'll need to look at it again, but maybe not. Tell me about Nemesis.
Okay, so we shot Nemesis after the strikes, after the fire. We shot Nemesis right here in L.A. It's kind of a love letter to L.A. And it's about a crime family versus a cop family, and it is intense.
Ooh.
And the View Park area, Baldwin Hills area, and our antagonist and our protagonist both live in View Park and Baldwin Hills. I was like, oh, this is I could roll out of my house and do this. And so it's Courtney Kemp and Tani, and Courtney was behind the Powerverse, and it's right here in LA. It's got little shades of some places it's an homage to Heat and maybe both New Jack City, and directed the pilot and the first episode. I was an executive producer on those, and they were kind enough to let me come in and world build with them, and it's going to be a stylish, tight, fun, energetic, kick-ass show. Nemesis comes out on Netflix, and I believe it comes out in May.
Okay, so that's right around the corner, and I will definitely binge that. What else do you want us to be tracking? I mean, you did a play, MVP. I hate that I didn't get to see it. It was at the Lincoln Center. Is it coming back? What else are you working on?
Yeah, I want to bring that one back, and that one was the last collab with me and my dad. I wrote it. My dad used to keep his leftovers. He didn't throw stuff out. As an independent filmmaker, he kept his food. So he'd take all his food by the end of the week. He'd take his food, he'd put some garlic and some onions, certain kind of seasoning, and he put it together. And I said, Dad, what the heck you making? He said, I call this hobo stew. And I said, what? He said, yeah, take all the ingredients that I love, so I know I'm going to love it if no one else loves it. And so what I did was I did the same thing with his art. I took some of his music, some of his movies, some of his novels, some of his plays, and I put together in a creative stage play version of Hobo Stew. And it's called MVP. And it uses, I love some of his music and the life lessons that he brought to me along the way. And, right now when we have so much, it's not even just about biodiversity anymore. It's about even, are we having human beings? Like we got AI coming in and doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's really nice to get up in front of people at a stage and get that human experience, that it's made by human beings. And when you do a play, there's no doubt about it. You don't have to go, is that real? Is that Memorex? Is that this? Is that that? That you are right there, and the audience gives you a great energy. And we're talking about bringing it to MVP to other cities. So yeah, that might be something.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Hopefully LA is one of them. We think about a lot of times being in entertainment, we think people start on stage and then they go to TV or film and then they go to the big screen, and there's a progression there, right? But how was it for you going back into theater?
I love it. Theater is really an actor's medium.
Yeah.
What I mean, when you're in a movie, the director can edit it later. The editor can edit it later. So it's the director's medium. When you're in television, the writer-producer has the continuum and dealing with how these characters play out over time. So it's a writer-producer medium. But theater, when you do theater, the director doesn't get up and yell, cut. The producer doesn't go, hey, get that other line right. It's from start to finish. It's an actor's medium. And there's a direct connection with the actor, with the thespian on the stage and the audience that's like no other. And it's real. And we as human beings are wired for that kind of contact. And so, it really brings home that we are the griots, we're the storytellers, we're the keeper of the oral tradition. And they can't censor that yet, and they can't duplicate it yet unless they make a mechanical, you or me.
Yeah. Coming soon, but still won't be you or me. I mean, the thing about theater for me is there's so much magic there, because there is that unpredictable thing, there were human beings going through a thing in real time. And so there's a vibration that's really spontaneous and wonderful about it.
Yes. There's a grounding to it and an immediacy to it that is lovely. So I love it. And I started out in theater. I went early on when I wanted to start acting. I went to my dad, and I had started acting when I was 11, first doing theater. I did a theater in San Francisco. But then I stopped and had to go to school and, went to do all that, which was good, And I majored in economics because Dad kept saying, I told you before, we got to not just know how to play basketball, we got to know how to own the team. And then he thought being financially literate or being able to at least speak finance would be very helpful. And it was. It's allowed me to put funding together on different projects sometimes and convince folks that I know what I'm doing and make money for people. Sometimes make money for people that I like, and that's great. So
that is great.
I started out in theater. When I first went to see him, I said, "Dad, I'm ready to act." He said, "Oh, you want me to make you a star?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "Okay." He drew a little star on a napkin. We were at a restaurant. And then he said, here's some free advice. Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and advertise. And that was really his thing. So I went out.
Wow.
And that was Pop. So I went out and started, trying to get in plays and theater. And so I started in theater. So to return to it was lovely. Felt like going home.
We're talking with Mario Van Peebles, actor, director, and producer, as well as, I did not know, economy major. We will continue this conversation, our final moments together when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Warning, evacuation in progress. Leave the building.
It's a total takeover.
That's what I want.
On Friday, March 27th, KBLA Talk 1580 belongs to the women.
Are you ready?
All day long, from 6 in the morning to midnight, the mic belongs to powerful, accomplished women, and we are not letting go. Nothing but the voices of women who inspire, challenge, and move us forward. It's the women of KBLA Talk 1580, sun up to sundown. I'm Dominique DePrima, and I'll anchor the day with a 3-hour live panel from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the state of black women in LA, followed by women talking to women all day long about the issues that matter most. Our hosts for the day include Jill Monroe, Adrian Shropshire, Dr. Melina Abdullah, Angela Reddick Wright, Raquel Graham, Angelique Francis, Tasha Thomas, Dr. Shalonda Crawford, and featuring special guest hosts Santita Jackson and Amanda Seals. This is Women's History Month, and we're not just celebrating it, we're amplifying it. Join us Friday, March 27th on KBLA Talk 1580, where women take over all day, all night. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 and all of our socials for the rundown. You don't want to miss a single word. And happy Women's History Month from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
You are the bomb.
To my ladies.
I'm sure you know how to work that. Go.
Attention community leaders, are you ready to strengthen your impact in the community? For more than 25 years, Community Development Services has helped nonprofits build strong communities by empowering community leaders and emerging professionals with the support they need to create lasting change. Starting a nonprofit or need a fiscal sponsor? Need expert nonprofit accounting services? Want nonprofit financial management training for your staff? Are you a college accounting student seeking an internship opportunity? Call 424-289-4330 or visit communitydevelopmentservicesinc.org. Community Development Services, providing support, improving communities. Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
My name is Tyrone Owens, and this is my home for 23 years that burned in the fire. Me and my wife, Charlene, we had this whole yard decorated every year.
This was the house that sparkled throughout the entire neighborhood on all the holidays. It's a community that will never be the same due to the negligence of a utility company. So I am pretty upset about that.
We were nowhere near being able to rebuild with our insurance. It's going to cost $1 million to put your house back up.
I want to get back to that point where we were before the fire. I'm starting to get emotional, but I'll work through it. LA Fire Justice has been wonderful for us. They're just caring people. I mean, we have all faith in them.
Big ups to LA Fire Justice, who's given us hope to rebuild 100%.
Advertisement. Douglas Foster, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100, Pasadena, California, 91101 is the attorney responsible for this ad.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
What a fun, inspiring, and informative conversation with Mario Van Peebles. If you are just joining us, don't worry. You can catch the whole thing. It will live on YouTube, and you can find it wherever you get your podcasts. You mentioned, your dad making you a star on a napkin, and then you going on to work with him. I know your own son, Mandela, was in your last Western. And how's he doing? Is he still acting?
Yeah, man. He's over in Paris right now. We have family over there. He was in the play with me.
Oh, nice.
And and then my other son, Michaelo, he lives across the street. And we got the house. I said, my name is Paul. When it comes to this mortgage, it's between y'all. And he pays the mortgage there, and he's producing with me. He worked with me on Nemesis. And we just wrote something else together that we got a check to write, and check cleared. I was like, whoa, well, that's cool.
Yay.
So we're writing together. So I'm getting to work with them. I might be one of my daughters is directing, and I might get to work with her on something. So, it's fun because it allows us to have what I call the holy overlap. And the holy overlap is the time you have on this planet while you're an adult and you're still cool, and your kids are adults and they're cool, and you guys can interface as friends, as father-daughter or daughter or father-son, and you get that holy overlap. And I had a lot of that with my family, and so it allowed us to be bilingual, where we have a play language and a hangout language, but we also have a work language. And that's a lovely thing that many folks don't get to know, and we feel pretty blessed that we get it. We're sort of like, I guess we're like the Jacksons without the musical talent. and I'm Joe Jackson adjacent. I'm not as hardcore as that,
Adjacent.
I'm way more user-friendly than my
yeah.
I can tell you.
We just got 60 seconds here, Mario Van Peebles. People, seems like a lot of gloom and doom, AI, the contraction and consolidation of the studios, the fleeing of production, other cities and countries. Is Hollywood as we know it dead, or are we just facing a little contraction here?
Time will tell, but we are, as a people, we are resilient. And that's the thing that, when I look at what my dad went through to get his stuff done, or folks like Oscar Michaud did, we, like I said, we have to channel our ancestors, the wisdom of our ancestors. We're original people, and we have to pair that with modern technology. If we do that and we keep on keeping on, I think we'll keep moving ahead. We are the flavor. We are the secret sauce that makes this country work. And we got a lot to do, but it's inspiring and it's a challenge, and it can be a hell of a lot of fun. One last thing I want to say, joy is the ultimate victory. Don't let any of the isms, lookism, sexism, racism, classism ever make you bitter. Then you've lost. Joy. Find.
I love that so much. Joy is the ultimate victory. I'm gonna steal that, borrow it, rent it.
Go with that.
Oh, Mario Van Peebles, thank you so much.
Thank you for talking to me.
Tavis Smiley is up next. I'm pretty sure you know that. He's got an amazing show on deck for you. So, keep it here. Keep it here all day. Keep it here all Women's History Month. We got that takeover coming up on the 27th, and so many great things in store for you. Like my dad, the late Amiri Baraka, used to say, a person is either free or he is not free. There can be no apprenticeship for freedom. I'm Dominique DePrima. You know where to find me. DePrima Radio on all the social media platforms. The station is at KBLA 1580 everywhere. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Longtime Congressman Benny Thompson has won Mississippi's Democratic primary, easily defeating Black 34-year-old challenger Evan Turnage.
I'm running for Congress because I am done waiting for Washington politicians to fix what they've broken.
The 78-year-old is now poised to secure his 18th term in the safely Democratic 2nd District. Human Rights Watch says armed drones used by Haitian security forces and private contractors killed at least 1,200 people and injured more than 700 between March 2025 and January 2026. The UN Human Rights Chief says the force used against gangs likely violates international law. And Netflix is giving a first look at its new series, Man on Fire, starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as former Special Forces mercenary John Creasy. The show follows Creasy's fight with PTSD. Man on Fire premieres April 30th. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Now is the time to save on an award-winning Nissan at the Nissan Now sales event, featuring the Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, and more. Don't wait. These offers are going fast. Shop your Southern California Nissan dealers and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are 6-1 in their last 7 games after beating Minnesota Tuesday night, 120-106 at Crypto.com. Luka Doncic had a triple-double with 31 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists. No LeBron last night. He missed his 3rd straight game with a sore elbow and a bruised hip. Until last night, Kobe Bryant's 81 points against Toronto in 2006 was the 2nd highest single-game total in NBA history. The 2nd highest game now belongs to Miami Heat forward Bam Adebayo. The 8-year veteran dropped 83 last night in Miami's 150-129 win over Washington. Wilt Chamberlain is number 1 with his 100-point game in 1962 for the Philadelphia Warriors. Adebayo passed LeBron for the most points in a game in Miami franchise history. LeBron had 61 against Charlotte in 2014. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All the women who independent.